Now this one is brought to you by the Openings people your coach warned you about. Openings Oddities is something very special. First, I'd like to start off by saying, before we jump into the content, that cancer touches so many lives, and I wanted to do something with a positive energy that I've gotten personally from Chessable. Half the proceeds with Openings Oddities will be going to the Komen Foundation to fight breast cancer. As I'm finishing this text up during October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I felt it's appropriate to do so. Now that we've got the positive energy flowing, let me go ahead and tell you 2 words come to mind when I'm thinking about Openings Oddities. The first, ambition, because this text, it's a bit much. I mean, you're about to see in our 3 categories with peculiarities, oddities, and then your generally playable openings, by transposition, of course. We've got something for everybody in this one. After my first 2 texts, Alekhine Defense, The Dark Knight Rises, and then Master the French Defense, I wanted to get off the beaten path, and too many of my students are like, well, what do I do against the Grob? What do I do? I mean, this guy just played one knight a3 against me, the Thodium attack. I mean, you gotta love it. So, what do? Well, this text is going to have you covered, and then, the extra content, I think you're really going to enjoy, because, you know what? Let's just dive right in with the peculiarities, and I've got the Polish/Sokolsky Opening, and then the Grob in the first bit. So let's give you a little taste, a little teaser trailer. So, 1b4, and it's been described of me before that my text, my lines are typically nettlesome in nature. And I love that word, and I'm going to continue to use it. Because I've definitely given lines in this text that are going to put pressure on the opponent. And, I mean, we're playing for wins. So, mostly throughout the text, we got something for e4 players, we got something for d4 players. We bounce around with our ideas. It's fun for everybody. So you got multiple options for most lines. But some lines, like Sokolsky, I found one line and it just felt right. So first of all, we're going to hit them with c6. And I have to throw in that disclaimer that we have really hammered and tried to cover everything, but I'm going to love watching this course grow over time, working with the Chessable faithful. I mean, I thought that I had everything hammered out with the Alekhine and the French, and I find myself, even now, almost a year after my first text came out, somebody sends me a line every now and then, we add it right in. I take pride in making sure that the course is the best that it can be, so please don't ever hesitate to put that comment in there, because I'm going to go back in and I'm going to attack it within reason. So, c6 is where we're starting off with this. And after bishop b2, a natural line. This is probably what I faced most in Rapid and Blitz. e3 was what I found is probably the best line for white in the situation, but this happens quite a lot. a5. So if he takes, we take with the queen, and thank you for the free development. If he pushes, you got a reasonable gambit there, but a pawn's a pawn. So then a3 seems natural enough. Grab, 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 grab. Queen b6, tickle, tickle on the pawn. And after c3, the flavor of the bishop's just been sealed in on a1. That doesn't exactly look like a friendly piece. Here, black can develop in multiple structures, but, I'm a bit partial to Colors Reversed London system type setup. d5, bishop f5, knight f6, knight bd7, e6, bishop d6, castle. And then you could play for a little bit of rook e8, e5, or rook a8. Hopefully you followed that. If not, it's in the main course. Enjoy. Now, let's jump back. So how about the Grob? So, with the Grob, the first thing, memory marker that pops to mind to me is these squares, these holes. And the line that we chose, starting with e5, is going to directly focus on using f4 and h4 in many variations. So you're going to be looking at this knight e7, knight g6, woohoo type situation. So after knight c6, one of the best lines is playing with this kind of English type structure. There's our key move and memory marker, knight ge7. Knight g6, tickle tickle on f4 and h4. So a move like knight f3 needs to be played. And we found after bishop c5, h3, d6, you know, long-term pressure is what black gets. And we'll see this structure time and again throughout the course, especially when facing the English. You'll see we recommended straight out Karpov, his line, and you know, I'm just excited about this. What can I say? So let's jump into the oddities. So we get a little taste of the peculiarities, and so when you say you're covering stuff, what are you doing? Okay, we got the Ware Opening, 1a4. We got the Barnes Opening, 1f3. We've got the Amar Opening, 1 knight h3. I'm going to run out of fingers. We've got the Clemenz Opening, 1 h3. We've got the Desprez Opening, 1 h4. And we got ourselves the Thodium Attack. These are truly the oddities. And, you know, I couldn't just give a few remarks and be done. I had to go a little bit crazy with this section. So, of course, what I did, I gave hidden full ideas and structural orientation for Colors Reversed repertoires. So, like justifying A4 and H4, for instance. Well, don't play a fianchetto system in order to allow white to justify his move. So each system that was recommended actively plays against the inherent weakness in that first move. So basically you're playing Colors Reversed systems. So some people will have some fun looking at those lines. I don't plan to analyze all of chess Colors Reversed, needless to say, but if you need some clarity, I'm happy to go back in and add there. So that hits the oddities. Now for the main event. Oh, the main course is coming. This is going to be sweet. So the Respectable openings. Let's first start Nimzo Larsen. Then we got the Bird. And I mean, I did cover Anderssen's opening 1A3, but that kind of feeds into the other lines. English, 1C4. Benko's opening, 1G3. Mieses Opening, 1D3. And the Saragossa opening, 1C3. So, why are these in Respectable openings? Because I'm crazy, and because I'm making sure we got the transpositions for ya. Alright, so 1B3. What line will I be recommending against this? Now, I'm getting a little bit off the beaten path. I've seen other people recommend Bishop D6 here, and it is a very reasonable line. But, you know, I've got some students who play the Nimzo Larsen, and this line is, what can you say, a bit annoying. Because the natural development, they're wanting to trade off that B on C6, and they just want to develop their knight to F3 and, you know, play a reasonable game, that type deal. Well, I like E4. Nettlesome. And we've definitely hammered this one. I first encountered this idea with Nakamura Shanklin from the U.S. Championship. And, you know, Shanklin's one of those guys I like to watch because he's an openings crazy person like myself and as a trailblazer. So, you know, be watching out for that. So let's bounce back little bit with the Nimzo Larsen for you. Well, how about the Birdman? Well, we got two reasonable choices for you. First, a little bit off the beaten path, a little bit odd ourselves, knight h6. And if you think in Colors Reversed systems, we're talking about the Dutch. In many Dutch variations, knight h3 is useful because of its ability to hop and annoy key squares, especially in the Leningrad Dutch. Now, What's special about knight h6 is there's ideas, like if 1b3, where we get an accelerated Fromm's gambit. And these lines are dirty. They are dirty! So you can get in a situation relatively quickly with these lines. If white wants to go pawn grabbing, you can lose almost immediately. So little taste with the knight h6 for you. And that would say be more for your aggressive and d4 players due to transpositions. But, you know, say you're a Sicilian player. Well, 1c5 will do, but then you say, well, I really don't like playing against these transpositions into Nimzo Larsens with b3. Well, we got 1g6 for you. And, of course, I've got the Sicilian Grand Prix analyzed. And you know what? I'm going to give you the full line because I like this line so much. And it was very, very popular for a long time because of a book that was worked on by one of my former co-authors, Grandmaster Zinji Hashvili, Chess Openings for White Explained, with this f5 idea, grab, grab. And what you see typically in these variations is black castles, and then white goes queen e1, queen h4, and throws the kitchen sink at you. Well, there's an interesting idea here in the position, which goes, if white doesn't have the queen e1, queen h4, and natural play idea, where's he supposed to be playing? So if I don't castle and I take that idea away, nettlesome it is. h6. And d3, b6, just getting ready to develop. He starts with his queen e1 nonsense, and you go g5. My king's not going to be over there. I'm having the fun. Yeah, I really like that line. So, we got our bird. Well, what about the English? What did you recommend for the English? And as stated earlier, I like Karpov, his solidity, and we recommended e5 in many, many lines. We also gave some d5 in many, many lines. But there's a structural orientation with the four knights that's just clean, easy, and effective. And if you don't believe me, take a look at the Armageddon game between Linderman and Akobian. I can't remember the year. Tie breaks in the U.S. Championship. A3, A5 to stop B4, and after E3, rook E8, because stuff's going to be happening on the open E file. And after B3, bishop F5. This is, say, the starting point of the Karpov variation. And we went through many texts, like Grandmaster Repertoire Series text, for instance, looking at the English, Marin's work. I have a lot of respect for Grandmaster Marin. And we definitely took the lines to the test. So, we have our English. Well, what about 1G3? 1G3 and 1D3, what are you doing with that? Well, we got your King's Indian attack. We got your oddball transpositions. We even decided that, you know, there's E5 lines there, but we wanted something for the guys who transpose and try to like to play the same systems versus everything. So let's first start off with the King's Indian attack and what we recommend. And it's a very clean variation. We don't like those lines with E5 where they go all out attacking us. So, you know, you play your bishop D7, your F6, you stay solid, and you're having some fun. So after G3, you know, E5 is definitely something that we recommended as well if you like those colors reverse systems. Well, what about Catalan? Now, I wanted something universal, and I mean, the Catalan, it could have been standalone in and of itself in its own text. And what's the magic thing that we recommend here? Now, honestly, I was trying valiantly to recommend the closed Catalan, but as a Catalan player from the white side myself, I just could not find full equality in some lines, and I was not completely happy or satisfied. So I went with the open. And the thing is, this entire Catalan repertoire, I based it off of the repertoire of the Cinderella man, the Cinderella story from the World Cup, Timur Rajabov, and he's holding it. He's doing well with it. So bishop e4 and c6, and this is that line that's in vogue that he's played a few times, including in the World Cup. And, it enjoys full dynamic equality. But, of course, we have all the sidelines, all of them. So, we got your g3, we got your d3, and last, but definitely not least, Saragossa opening. And, what did we do here? We, of course, talked about Kali system as well as the London. So I'll give you a little London system taste here. We got our transposition, very natural. And there are a few lines here that I enjoy playing for black, one being c takes d4, but here I decided to follow a key example game by Wesley So that was so nice, and I had the privilege of working with International Master Casa Corley at the Emery Castle Chess Camp, and we were talking about this position, which was reached in a game that he actually played in the Grand Prix event. And this thematic bishop g3, in the long term, it can be problematic for white if he castles when you play bishop takes g3, h takes g3, because the pawn structure isn't very fluid, and there are some variations where your king can get in trouble in the long term because of this pawn structure. So white realize that that's the issue. So they play a number of waiting moves, waiting for black to capture. So b6, queen e2, there's one of those waiting moves. Well, we've got them too. And now rook d1, another waiting move. But the thing is, in this position, white's almost out of waiting moves. So rook e8, if he castles, we clip on g3. And other moves, e4 was what was played in that main game. Bishop e7, e5, and we got ourselves a fun and dynamic position. And you can look at that So example game, which is so clean and nice. It's what I've been recommending against the London system since I saw that game. Overall, what more can you ask for with Openings Oddities? We went all out, and I can't state enough how much I appreciate sincerely the support I've received on Chessable, and I'm hoping this course is amazing, and we have the same kind of reception and feedback we've had from the previous courses that I've been involved with on Chessable. And let's make a difference. Cancer affects, roughly 1 in 3 people, and positive energy. Let's do something to make a difference together. Thank you.